It's November 19, 2022, Saturday. Good morning, this is Joyan Lopez and you are watching ITE Newscast. Together with my co-host, Mr. Adrian Domingo, Ms. KRISTINE BARRINUEVO, and Ms. Camille Javier. Today, we are giving you some news about effect of technology used for teaching and learning process in student. Here, Mr. Domingo, for more information.
Technology has an impact on how people communicate, learn, and think. It benefits society and impacts how people relate to one another on a regular basis. Today's civilization is significantly influenced by technology. It affects people's daily lives and has both positive and harmful consequences on the planet. The way that technology influences education is one area where it has had a significant impact on society. Learning has become more interactive and collaborative, which has improved how well people interact with the content they are studying and finding difficult. Additionally, it gives you improved access to resources. Since the invention of the internet, we had constant access to information, and you can find nearly anything online. Furthermore, it makes it simpler for students to do their tasks. Quizzes and exams can be taken by the students more easily, and teachers may hold productive classes online. Additionally, it broadens the confines of the classroom and promotes self-paced learning. YouTube and social media are two places where people can get education. In this digital age, digital technologies offer a wide range of educational opportunities and more potent instruments which can enhance teaching and learning. These recommendations provide essential direction for planners and managers of the use of technology in independent schools, including administrators, instructors, and technical personnel. Education during COVID-19 pandemic. December 2019, where the education sector puts in a hiatus as educational institutions forced to stop to avoid the spread of deadly coronavirus COVID-19 that later on became a global pandemic that causes learning loss for the students. To push through the education during this pandemic, the Philippines Department of Education (DepEd) established distance learning modes to guarantee learning continuity in response to the COVID-19 epidemic. DepEd is aware of the difficulties in providing alternative learning modalities to the 27.7 million pupils enrolled in basic education. Distance learning requires electronic devices and internet connection that would be a primary tools to go along with the new learning modality. But on the other hand, those students living below the socio-economic status opt to choose to stop their education because of financial problem, stating the facts that most of the Filipino workers are forced to stay at home because of government-imposed lockdowns. In an article published in Inquirer.net, UNICEF identifies poor reading abilities among PH children as lockdown's effect. Globally, UNICEF said 2 years into the pandemic, schools have been fully closed for 20 weeks and partially closed for an additional 21 weeks, on average across countries. Data from the UNESCO Global Monitoring of Schools Closures revealed that about 1 in 10 countries have fully closed their schools for over 40 weeks. School children around the world have missing an estimated 2 trillion hours and counting of in-person learning since the onset of the pandemic and subsequent lockdowns, UNICEF added. This term paper will discuss how technology affects the teaching and learning process while highlighting the respondents' age, gender, and socioeconomic level. The number of students who had trouble utilizing the new learning method will also be examined, as well as the respondents' academic achievement when employing technology to enhance their learning. Again, this is Adrian Domingo with ITE Newscast for the latest news and update. Ms. KRISTINE BARRINUEVO.
Thank you, Mr. Domingo. In the verse objectives, we can see that how technology affects the performance of the students. A very important technological impact on education is increased interactivity and class engagement. In addition, better overall comprehension, practical learning, time management, and combined learning methodologies are just some of the impacts that technology has had on student learning. Technology engages students in simulated experiences and encourages them to practice collaborative decision-making. We know that technology has made a huge contribution to how we live today. It has an important role to play in our society because technology affects the way individuals communicate, learn, and think. One aspect of technology that a great impact in our society is how it affects learning. With the invention of the internet, we have access to knowledge 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, and we can find practically anything online. Speaking of learning, technology has many benefits for students like me. With the very ever-changing world of technology, classrooms are gaining more technology and having it to incorporate to the student learning because the usage of technology has made us students' life more efficient. Some of the teachers viewed technology as a distraction for learning, even though students use it as a tool to get a higher grades or even get a better grades. But it changed during pandemic. Teachers are discovering the technology and the potential of digital devices, apps, and tools can promote engagement, foster collaboration, drive innovation, and improve students' learning. In conclusion, although technology can be seen as a threat to education of students, it is also essential after students become used to learning technology during the new learning modalities. Technology will not replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of a great teachers can be transformational. George Corus. Again, this is Christine BARRINUEVO with ITE Newscast for the latest news and updates. Ms. Joyanne Lopez.
Thank you, Ms. BARRINUEVO. Now we are in the second objectives. What are the problems that the student encountered using the new learning modality? In this Philippine context, remote reveals a digital divide among Filipino students, Santos 2020. This current situation in remote learning may most possibly exacerbate existing inequalities and may translate to barriers in online learning. For example, a cross-sectional studies conducted nationwide reported that 32% and 22% out of 3,670 Filipino medical students surveyed have a difficulties adjusting to new learning style, do not have a reliable access in internet, respectively, Baticolon at 2020. For some, it may represent difficulty to purchase a facilitate learning device to easily tune into online classes and immediately turn in assignment in the online system, Santos 2020. Despite of efforts to make education accessible for all, many difficulties are still confronting in Filipino universities, student, and practice of distance education.
Mahigit 3 buwan pa bago ang pagbabalik eskwela, pero problemado na ngayon pa lang si Teacher Femi. Ang pinapasukan niya kasing Katigesin Elementary School sa bayan ng Upisa, Maguindanao, tiyak mahihirapan sa panukala ng DepEd na gawing online ang mga klase dahil sa banta ng COVID-19. Mahina raw ang internet signal at limitado ang supply ng kuryente sa kanilang lugar.
Wala kaming internet connections. Kahit pa kuryente, isa din yun siya sa mahirap.
Here it said that it's really difficult to not have a strong access in internet, just like in student of medical field. It's really difficult to not understand what being taught properly if the internet is weak. According to Trisenyo JKD 2022, students encountered a variety problem, including the problem in their mental health and online learning, because they are focused on making living. Parents find it difficult to fulfill a duty from home educator, even though desire to continue learning unaffected by current difficulties. The experience in this chapter demonstrate the need of additional empirical research in the age of online education. Just like what Trisenia said, it's really difficult as a student if there's no one to accompany us or to help us during the pandemic if we using a technology for new learning modality. Just like our parent, because we all know that our parent is busy in working. But there's a different way to handle this kind of situation, just like here in the video of homeschooling.
For the most part, ang kailangan ng magulang that decides to homeschool is they need to learn to be organized. So they need to be able to create some semblance of structure para naman yung pinapag-aralan ng bata, kaya nilang sundan and they can progress in a good way, no? Pangalawa, they need to be resourceful. Ano ba yung resourceful? Dahil nga ang magulang na ngayon ang magdadrive, if a parent wants to do it, they need to ask themselves, kaya mo ba mag-anak ng mga paraan na matututo yung anak mo? Or they will be able to learn what they're supposed to learn, right? Finding online resources, finding community groups that can help support them, finding teachers that can help coach them, ganyan.
Again, this is Joy Ann Lopez with ITE Newscast for the latest news and updates. Miss Javier?
As a final point, that the academic performance of the student on online learning, we all know that the higher education institution have shifted from traditional face-to-face to online teaching due to coronavirus pandemic, which has forced both teachers and students to be put in a compulsory lockdown. However, the online teaching learning constitutes a serious challenge that both university teachers and students have to face, as it necessarily requires the adoption of different new teaching learning strategies to attain effective academic outcomes, imposing a virtual learning world which involves from the student part an online access to lectures and information. And on the teacher's side, the adoption of new teaching approach to deliver the curriculum content. It shown the academic performance of the student to the learners have instant access to information through technology and the web, can manage their own acquisition of knowledge through online learning. As a result, traditional teaching and learning methods are becoming less effective at engaging students. According to the survey of Secure Edu Movement, numerous signs point to the failure of distance learning.
Sa halos 1,300 estudyante ng K-12 na tinanong sa pag-aaral ng Secure Education Movement, higit sa kalahati ang nagsabing mas kaunti ang natutunan nila, mapa-online, modular o blended.
Numerous signs point to the failure of distance learning. Based on 3 separate online surveys conducted by Secure Edu Movement from November 23 to December 22, 2020 among teachers, students, and parents. This survey focused on assessing the conduct of distance learning in basic education. Primarily in public schools, these were participated in by 1,395 teachers, 1,207 parents, and 620 grade 4 to 12 students nationwide. Amid warnings from lawmakers and education experts of looming learning crisis, Secure Edu survey shows that 7.9 of teachers respondents do not think or are not confident that the competence sensed by the Department of Education under distance learning are actually being developed. Among teacher respondents, only 4% said that all their students are keeping up with the lesson. 57% testify that a segment of their class is behind the lesson, while 39% have unclear answer. About 31% of teachers said that 1 to 3 in every 10 of their students are not able to keep up. 15% of teachers said that 4 to 6 out in every 10 students cannot keep pace with their classes, with 10% of teachers said that 7 or more in very 10 are behind.
Halos 1 taon nang nakamodule at online classes sa mga estudyante dahil sa pandemya. Para sa inang si Wilma, mas panatag raw ang loob niya sa online classes kaysa sa face-to-face lalo't hindi pa sila bakunado.
Mas maganda sana kung face-to-face. Pero kung ibalik man nila, bibigyan muna nila ng vaccine yung mga bata.
Pero ang grade 8 niyang anak na si Andrea, aminadong mas hirap siyang maunawaan ng mga leksyon online.
Pag face-to-face po kasi, kaharap po namin yung teacher. So, mas naiintindihan po namin.
Para naman sa grade 1 teacher na si Divina Murillo, hindi maikakailang hirap. Hindi lang siya, kundi pati mga magulang at estudyante sa modular learning.
Hirapan din daw kasi si John sa 2 taong online class, kaya naman looking forward na raw siya sa face-to-face class.
Gani, gagamba. Isa, 2, 3. Minsan po naglalag yung cellphone, wala pong signal.
Oo. Eh, paano yan pag may tinuturo bagong lecture si teacher? Paano ginagawa mo?
Nakikinig lang po.
Tatanong sa teacher kung ano po yung mga leksyon na nalagpasan niya.
Si Kate Aldaba na incoming grade 12 sa pasukan nahirapan daw sa online class dahil sa hirap ng internet connection. Apektado tuloy ang kanyang grades.
Bumaba po kasi nung face-to-face po dati. Hindi po napapaliwanag ng maayos.
By this, we knew that the EdTech or educational technology have both positive and negative effects on the student. And of course, for the teacher who educates them, technology, the work of the student and teacher becomes so easy. But aside from that, student encountered problem using technology in education. The use of technology, the willingness of a student in learning is more visible. It can also be very important in helping for a good mental development of student. Based on the finding that there is no significant relationship between the teacher, computer competence, and teaching effectiveness, it can be concluded that in order to positively affect student academic performance, it is not mandatory for teachers to be skilled in technology. On the other hand, in order to help students achieve higher academic performance, teachers have to be effective with or without the use of computer technology. Student academic achievement is influenced by their own computer literacy. However, students in the lower years utilize computer less than the student in the higher years. Another factor lowering student self-efficacy and computer utilization is their parents' academic achievements. Again, this is Camille Javier with the ITE Newscast for the latest news and updates.